Welcome to Corvette Today, the podcast that talks about everything Corvette, with your host Steve Garrett, MC and DJ at one of the largest Corvette weekends in the country, Corvette Fun Fest, president of the Corvette Club of Kansas City, Missouri, and radio disc jockey at the #1 radio station in Kansas City for over 40 years. Here's Steve Garrett.
Thanks for listening and watching Corvette Today, the show that talks about everything Corvette, and the only current podcast dedicated to Corvette. I'm your host, Steve Garrett. I appreciate you tuning in. Corvette Today is brought to you by Wheelcraft. Want to dress up your Corvette with bright chrome or black chrome wheels? Learn about their advanced PVD chrome finishing. They can refinish your wheels or offer a wheel exchange for most models, and it comes with a 5-year warranty. Visit wheelcraft.com today or call 833-639-4231. You can listen to Corvette Today on all podcast platforms. You can also listen on your smart device. Just say, "Hey Google" or "Alexa, play the podcast called Corvette Today," and you're connected. Be sure and visit the updated Corvette Today website. It's corvettetoday.com. You can also access everything there, including the Corvette Today merchandise store. You can also join the Corvette Today Facebook group there and sign up for Corvette Today emails, notifications, and updates at corvettetoday.ck.page. And if you like YouTube, you can subscribe to the Corvette Today YouTube channel. See all Corvette Today episodes on YouTube. And be sure and patronize our flagship sponsors of Corvette Today, mid-enginecorvetteforum.com, the forum that focuses on the new mid-engine C8 Corvette. Meet a lot of Corvette enthusiasts like yourself at mid-enginecorvetteforum.com. And Soul Performance Products. Developed and manufactured in the United States, the Soul Performance Products exhaust portfolio has been tailored to elevate the experience of the world's most exciting sports cars, including the latest generation of the Corvette. Soul Performance Products at soulpp.com, the official performance exhaust of Corvette Today. Aerolarri Wheels, a true forged wheel with over 20 different unique styles to choose from for your C8 and wide-body versions of the C7, C6, and C5 Corvettes. It's an amazing value, starting at only $23.88 for a set of 4 fully forged wheels. And use the promo code CT111 and get $100 off your purchase. Visit aerolarri.com, that's AEROLARRI.com, and use the promo code CT111 for your $100 discount. And a shout out to Corvette Forum and Canadian CorvetteForum.com, welcoming Corvette enthusiasts from around the world. It's time to bring you the latest Corvette news and headlines with my pal Keith Cornett from CorvetteBlogger.com. Keith is with me every other week. We keep you current and up to date on what's happening with America's sports car. Well, Keith, it's been a busy week. Last week, Corvettes at Carlisle and the anniversary celebration, and you survived a hurricane, didn't you?
Yeah, we were up at Carlisle, and all of a sudden we started getting these weather reports of something brewing in the Gulf, and sure enough, it ended up being a Cat 3 hurricane skirting by Tampa Bay. We were actually really lucky here in Tampa. There was some flooding. You might have seen some stuff on the news, but with the storm being 120 miles out or so offshore, we just really came out on the positive side of that. Also appreciate the people that reached out to us. We're hoping that we are well. Thank you so much for that as well.
That's awesome. It's nice to hear that people are checking up on you to make sure you're okay.
Exactly. And we are kind of bummed because we did have to cancel our trip up to the NCM this week. We just didn't know what was going to be like. Frankly, anytime an ice storm comes along, we've had Irma, we've had Ian. We both ended up without power for several days. So we just thought, you know what, let's just err on the side of caution, make sure the family's okay first. We'll just have to hit the next trip when it comes up, which I think will probably end up being the NCM Bash in April.
Yep.
Will be the next time we're up there again. And that'll be another exciting year and a great way to start off the Corvette season. But hey, we've got some stuff to talk about now with Corvette news.
We do, buddy. Let's start off like we usually do with news and headlines and Corvette production updates from the Bowling Green Assembly Plant.
Sure. Well, as production goes, we are definitely coming down to the wire. The model year ends on Monday, September 11th. We are currently tracking about 51,421 Corvettes built so far for the model year. Again, our numbers lag a couple days, but our breakdown currently is 41,429 regular Stingrays, plus an additional 4,281 70th anniversary Stingray. So our total Stingray count is 45,700. And then for the Z06, we're tracking 4,805 regular Z06s surpasses, plus an additional 906 70th anniversary cars. So our total for the Z06 is 5,711. You know, what's interesting is while we're up at Carlisle, I did press some of the guys up there to find out what we were doing. We talked to Harlan Charles, who I asked him why he was giving a seminar. We know that they know the number. I mean, they've all been scheduled for production, but they would not say. And during the walk around, Tad actually said final production was over 53,000, but again, he didn't give us the total. So my guess is that the 2023 model year will probably come in second to the 1979 record production of 53,807. The one thing about our counts is that we're not counting any captured test fleet cars, which are saleable units and would count towards that total. Not that I think that there's going to be a whole lot of those. Usually they do like 100 or 150. We'll just have to wait and see. I mean, this was the rollout of the Z06, so there were some additional CTF cars out there. We'll just have to wait till the final stats come out. We know they got them. We're just waiting for that big number to come out.
And I was so excited to see that we officially surpassed 50,000 Corvettes made in 2023.
Right after our last recording, I knew we were close, so I kept checking each day and kept tabulating until we surpassed that 50,000 milestone. You know, Chevrolet has only done this 3 times now in Corvette's 70-year history, so it's definitely a very big deal. You know, the two numbers, of course, were 1979 was first, and then the 1984 model, which was an extended model year. So it's definitely a big deal, especially when every single one of these cars built are customer sold orders and not just built to sit on car lots and waiting for a buyer to come. Dealers would love to be in that situation, have stock cars for sale, but unfortunately, we're just not there yet. Almost every car, other than some Z06s and some of the games that some of the dealers have been playing with the Z06, nearly every single Corvette has been ordered specifically for a customer. And that just goes to show you the longevity of this car and what it's capable of. So a lot of people are saying, when's this model year going to end? And there's been some rumors about this and that. But if they're making 40 and 50,000 cars and selling every single one of them, there's a no rush to change model years. The demand is here and it's right now. So fill that demand and let's get these cars out to the people. So yeah, 50,000 cars in 1 year, very big deal.
Absolutely. And the one thing I was disappointed to see is that 2024 E-rate ordering has been delayed.
Yeah, we think we got the idea why. So Chevrolet had sent out a dealer memo back in July stating that Corvette E-rate orders would start on August 17th. However, when that date came, dealers only got allocations for the Stingray and Z06. So we have a hotline. We start calling around and start texting. And sure enough, no E-rays, just Stingray and Z06. Technically, dealers can submit an E-ray order, but it's an unmatched order to allocations, and it'll just sit there at status 1100. So as we said, when you set a date and then you miss it, we call that a delay, but we think we know why it's delayed, and it's due to the current state of negotiations between the big 3 automakers and the United Auto Workers. Chevrolet has already pushed back the start of production for the E-Ray to Monday, October 23rd. That date's like 6 weeks beyond when the UAW contract ends on September 14th. One of the ways that the manufacturers deal with the auto workers is maybe to take some things off the bargaining table, like the urgency surrounding like a new Corvette launch during that time. We were affected last time, 2019, with that strike, and it's just one of these things where, you know, they knew everybody was counting on the new Corvette, and so it was a little bit more of a leverage for them. Unfortunately, these negotiations don't seem to be going all that well. Definitely a lot of posturing on both sides of the table. While we were up in Carlisle, we know that the nationwide local UAWs voted to authorize a strike in case it comes to that point. We've got about 2 more weeks before the current contract expires, so we know that by the next time our News and Headlines podcast comes around, we'll probably have a whole lot more information on this front. It's never good to see strikes. We are always hoping that these two sides can work it out. But like I said, a lot of posturing on both sides. And sometimes, you know, someone's just itching for a strike just to prove a point. We'll just have to see what happens. Just stay tuned to that.
Yeah, Keith and I will keep you current and up to date on what's going on with the strike. And the interesting thing is they're going to strike all the big 3 at the same time.
It sounds like it, yeah. Although I was kind of hoping, you know, last time they targeted GM first and then moved to the other 2. Here, it does seem like they're targeting all 3 at the same time. But for whatever reason, Sean Fain, the guy leading the UAW, seems to really have it in for Stellantis. Keep your focus over there for a little bit longer and let us build our cars.
Yeah, let us get the E-Ray out the door, that's for sure. And our final story in the news section, Keith, I was really glad to see that Corvette is one of the top 20 fastest selling used cars on the market.
You know, when the C8 first came out, and especially when it became then 1 year, 2 years old, that's when we saw a lot of that sales action. There's a company called IC Cars, and they're the ones that produced this report. But they would produce these reports when it was the fastest selling new car, and it was selling in like 8 days and 11 days. And it was just the turning of the car, you know, to get it to the dealership and then right into the hands of that customer. Again, every car is sold as a customer sold order before it reached the dealership anyway. So it was kind of a natural thing that happened. But now it's actually, for the last couple of years, it's fallen off that list. It's taken just a little bit longer. It could be some changes to the shipping and how it gets to the dealership. But now that we've got 4 model years under its belt and we're seeing prices beginning to stabilize, especially pre-owned prices, now we're seeing it again on this fastest selling used cars. I see cars, they analyzed over 220,000 new and used car pricing, and they look at like 1 to 5 year old cars for the used side. The latest report shows that the Corvette is ranked 16th on the top 20 with an average selling time of 39.9 days and prices averaging about $82,500.
Wow.
Obviously, we're talking Stingrays and used prices for the Stingrays, but we have definitely seen that time to sell extend out. Some have actually seen it go out further, and it seems to have snapped back just a little bit. And then, of course, the prices, they're actually coming down. You can actually go out on Auto Trader and find some cars selling for very close to their MSRP, if not at MSRP, as a pre-owned car. We're definitely seeing some movement there. One of the best ways to combat people selling cars for over MSRP is just to sell a whole lot of them. And that's what we're hoping that we can finally get up to the Z06, where it doesn't make sense for a dealer to sell it for $50,000 if it's selling for, $5,000 over MSRP. Need a lot more cars, obviously, to get there, but this is a good sign of things to come.
Yeah, that sounds good. Buddy, let's take our first break. When we come back, up next is Corvette Racing and Corvette Rumors here on Corvette Today.
We all know that wheels make the car. Wheelcraft's PVD chrome finish in bright chrome or black chrome will take your Corvette to new levels. And it comes with a 5-year warranty. Durability is a defining feature of the Wheelcraft finish. Their PVD chrome is superior to traditional chrome, with a finish that is brake dust resistant and cleans effortlessly with soap and water. Wheelcraft offers factory wheel exchange for select C4 through C8 models, or they can apply the PVD finish to your current wheels. No matter what generation you own, Wheelcraft will transform the look of your Corvette. With every Corvette comes a unique story, and Wheelcraft has embraced this idea. When you purchase your new set of wheels, you receive a lifetime membership to the Wheelcraft Pit Crew, granting you access to your own page on Wheelcraft's website, where you can post pictures and tell your Corvette story. Visit our website at wheelcraft.com or call 833-639-4231. Arrive in style with Wheelcraft.
Hi, I'm Phil Pataki with Car Capsule. Our new signature model comes with a carbon fiber look floor with double stitching and zipper pulls for easy up and down, easy access. We have our LED light kit with a remote control, and of course we have the IntelliCharger that actually integrates with this car and many other cars. We preserve and protect and present the finest vehicles in the world, and yours is next. Check us out at carcapsule.com.
The Radiator Grill Store offers C8 Corvette A-pillar wind diffusers in beautiful carbon fiber or OEM gloss black that help reduce wind buffeting when a window is open. Easy installation and OEM fitment. Plus, get 10% off your total purchase with the promo code CT10 at radiatorgrillstore.com.
Are you ready to take your Corvette to the next level? Look no further than Classic Trim Customs. As the #1 supplier for American hydrocarbon, we've manufactured some of the most impressive Corvette parts on the market, from engine bay panels to splitters and side skirts. With over 30 years of experience in hydrographics, we've perfected the technique and use only state-of-the-art materials and equipment to ensure the highest quality and precision. Visit our website at ClassicTrimCustoms.com or give us a call at 305-258-3090 to learn more about our products and services. Whether you want to create a show-stopping ride or just add a touch of personalization, the sky is the limit with Classic Trim Customs. Let us help you create the Corvette of your dreams.
You're enjoying the only current podcast on Corvettes, Corvette Today.
Thanks for checking out Corvette Today on podcast and YouTube. It's the only current podcast dedicated to Corvette. Corvette Today is brought to you by Wheelcraft. You want your Corvette looking its best? Dress it up with bright chrome or black chrome wheels. Visit wheelcraft.com and learn about their advanced PVD chrome finishing. They can refinish your wheels or do a wheel exchange, and you get a 5-year warranty. Visit wheelcraft.com or call them at 833-639-4231. I'm your host, Steve Garrett. With me is Keith Cornett from CorvetteBlogger.com. We keep you current and up to date on what's going on with America's sports car every other week. Keith, in the second segment, we always talk about Corvette Racing and Corvette Rumors. First off, let's talk about how Corvette Racing did at the Virginia International Raceway.
Well, Steve, we had a fantastic result at Virginia International Raceway. The number 3 Corvette C8R with Antonio Garcia and Jordan Taylor finished first overall to take the win. This is actually the third win in 4 years at VIR, and it was a critical one for us to bring home the championship for the GTD Pro class. And it looks like we're going to go all the way to the final race at Petit Le Mans to find out how that situation ends up. Corvette Racing, they employed a two-stop strategy at VIR, which got the C8R to the end. It started with Antonio first in the car, followed by Jordan Taylor. There was a little bit of mistake by the Lexus. We were able to get out there in front of them to take that lead, and then Jordan just brought it home with a little bit of a fuel-saving strategy employed. Looked like all was good. The win at VIR was actually the second one for Corvette Racing this season, and it's the 126th worldwide victory since the team's inception 25 years ago. The number 3 C8R, looks like we've got 2 races left. They're going to be at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway September 15th through the 17th for Battle of the Bricks, and that's going to be on the IMS road course. Looking overseas, the number 33 Corvette C8R racing in the World Endurance Championship, they're going to be in action again on September 10th for the 6 hours of Fuji in Japan. So we'll be able to talk about that result, I think, next time we get together here. The number 33 car, they've already clinched the championship with 2 races to go, and they've already pretty much got things wrapped up over there. So just a few more races to go in the season, and then next year we begin that GT3 era with the new Corvette.
Yeah, that sounds great. I can't wait for that new GT3R. That's a great looking car. Also, you mentioned Jordan Taylor. He actually did discuss his decision to leave Corvette Racing, didn't he?
Yeah, he did an interview with Autosport right after that news came out. One of the things he said was he really never thought he'd be leaving General Motors after signing with them. He said the decision just came down to IMSA rule changes and replacing that GT Le Mans class with GT3-based cars. And according to him, it says it kind of took away some of the passion and enjoyment for driving the cars and the style of driving that he likes. He wanted to return back to prototype racing, and really the main reason there was not only to fight for overall wins, but it's a class where he could do an overall win at Le Mans still. They're racing the LMDH cars there. That's definitely something that he'd love to do. He's never been able to do that yet. He's actually returning back to his father's team, Wayne Taylor Racing, which is teamed up with Andretti Motorsports, and they've got a 2-car effort next year. He'll be joining teammate Louis Delatraz in the second Acura LMDH racer for the IMSA Sports Car Championship in 2024. We're going to miss Jordan. Of course, he'll live on through his social media posts. He did a fantastic job for Corvette Racing. Just wish him the best of luck.
Absolutely right. In the rumors category, Keith, this was interesting. We think we saw a C8 ZR1 prototype testing in southern Ohio, didn't we?
Yeah, there's a small town in Ohio named Marietta that GM engineers, they really seem to enjoy. And we got a couple of Corvette enthusiasts based out of there. And they've actually captured Corvette prototypes multiple times for us. Actually going back to the 2019 Corvette ZR1 convertible was first spied in Marietta. We had the first spy photos of the ZR1 convertible from these guys. They called me up. They're all excited. They said the boys were back in town the week of August 21st, and their spy pic showed 3 different Corvette prototypes wearing that black heavy camouflage, but they did have big Z06 wings, and we were able to see the center quad exhaust port, so that's why we think that they are ZR1s. They were also joined by a hypersonic gray 2023 Corvette Z06 with the Z07 performance package as well, so it makes sense that they're benchmarking that car against the ZR1s as well. Surrounding Marietta, there's just some great roads. One of them is called State Road 555, which the locals call the Triple Nickel. And you'd have to think GM's always data logging and capturing data as they are on these test drives. So by returning to these same roads over and over, they could probably compare the data from the different models over the years and see how they did from the newest one to the previous ones. We love seeing those prototypes testing out there. And if you guys ever see a prototype or something you think might be special, take some pictures, grab some video, and send it our way. We occasionally will throw out some money for that stuff. It's important we paid these guys because they're just Johnny on the spot for us all the time. If you see prototypes, let us know.
It sounds like we need a road trip to the Triple Nickel, Keith.
We've had some friends up there. I know Conti did a video where he drove that test track, and it's really windy, and there's elevation changes. I mean, it looks just like a really fun road to ride on. Of course, Southern Ohio, you're in the foothills of the Appalachians there, too, I think. So lots of fun, I would believe.
Our final story, Keith, in the rumors category, a GM test driver was seriously injured in a Z06 at the Milford Proving Grounds.
Yeah, this news came from the Detroit Free Press, and it kind of came unexpectedly. This accident happened back in June, and then because it was investigated by the Michigan State Police, when the Detroit Free Press heard about it and did some rumor checking on it, they actually submitted a FOIA request for records from the Michigan State Police to get the details of the crash. The story goes that a GM test driver named Sean Getty was in a Corvette Z06 when it left the track and slid into the woods. The car was actually cut in half and then caught on fire. That crash happened in June at around 10:42 in the morning. 1 minute after the crash, OnStar was notified. And then by 10:44 a.m., 2 minutes after the crash, GM was notified and sent out their emergency response team to find him. Maintenance and ground crews actually saw smoke from the fire, and they located the driver, who they think crawled from the wreckage back out to the edge of the track. He had suffered critical injuries, including burns, and had to be airlifted to a Michigan hospital.
Wow.
We have a quote from Danielle Getty, who is Sean's sister. She said they started a GoFundMe page, just has a long road of recovery ahead of him. He's looking at another 3 to 4 months in ICU, actually, before going to a live-in care facility for rehab. So he's got a long road ahead of him. They've raised about $21,000 on the GoFundMe page. We do have that linked in the story as well. And then found this interesting, the Milford Proving Grounds, they've been in operations for nearly 100 years, I believe like 98 years now. And over that time period, there have been 8 people killed at the facility. We think about, wow, how cool it would be to be a GM test driver. There are definitely some inherent risks that come with pushing a car to its limits and trying to make it the best for us. We definitely appreciate his service and wish him well on his road to recovery.
Yeah, I hope he recovers really, really fast. All the best. Prayers and thoughts going his way. Buddy, let's take our final break, and when we come back, it's the lighter side of Corvette up next on Corvette Today.
Are you ready for a better insurance policy without the Corvette tax? With Agreed Value Protection, the value of your collector vehicle will never change. Plus, you'll save money. Get a quick quote at ncminsurance.com.
When you want to buy a Corvette, or any Chevrolet for that matter, get yours from Hendrick Chevrolet Shawnee Mission, located in Kansas City. Hendrick Chevrolet is the largest Corvette dealership and showroom in the Midwest. With a knowledgeable sales staff and Corvette sales specialists on hand, they'll help you build the Corvette of your dreams, and they ship nationwide. With Corvette certified master mechanics on site and a huge parts department with over 24,000 parts and $2 million in inventory, Hendrick Chevrolet is well equipped to take care of your every need. From sales to service to collision repair, Hendrick Chevrolet has you covered. Visit ChevyUSA.com or call 913-384-1550.
VetFinders.com is the Internet's original Corvette classified ads website, with classified ads starting at just $25, and every ad runs until your Corvette is sold. If you're in the market for a Corvette, VetFinders.com has over 500 Corvettes for sale from all around the USA and Canada, and covering all 8 generations. Visit VetFinders.com, the Internet's destination for buying and selling Corvettes. That's VETTE Finders.com.
Yogi Berra once said, if you don't know where you're going, you'll probably end up there. At True Wealth & Company, we take that to heart. See, at True Wealth & Company, we believe your retirement lifestyle travels through 2 doors. Door number 1, the blue door, gives you more options, financial freedom. Your money outlives you. Every happiness you wish for in life is through the blue door. Door number 2, the red door, is where you outlive your money. You rely on family, friends, or even the state to take care of you. At True Wealth & Company, we're not just financial planners. The best way to walk through the blue door is to have a written plan. Make a work-optional lifestyle a reality with our proprietary True Life Map formula. Look towards your future with anticipation, not apprehension. Having a rock-solid fiduciary partner like True Wealth & Company is essential to effective financial planning. There's no winging it. There's nothing left to chance. Look, we don't want you to become another Yogi Berra-ism. Give us a call today at 913-653-TRUE. Visit us online at retirewithtrue.com. Start your financial independence and work-optional lifestyle today.
913-653-8783. Visit us online at retirewithtrue.com. Investment advice offered through True Wealth & Company, LLC, a registered investment advisor in the state of Kansas.
And now, back to the only current podcast on Corvettes, Corvette Today, with your host, Steve Garrett.
Thanks once again for listening and watching Corvette Today, the show that talks about everything Corvette. Corvette Today is brought to you by Wheelcraft. Dress up your Corvette with bright chrome or black chrome wheels. Visit wheelcraft.com and learn about their advanced PVD chrome finishing. They can refinish your wheels or do a wheel exchange, and you get a 5-year warranty. Visit wheelcraft.com or call them 833-639-4231. I'm your host, Steve Garrett. With me is Keith Cornett from CorvetteBlogger.com. If you want a deeper dive into any of the stories that Keith and I cover on this show, you can always go to CorvetteBlogger.com. Our final segment, Keith, we always cover the lighter side of Corvette. This is really interesting. A 71 Corvette, it's a ZR2, sold at the Mecum auction in Monterey for $785,000. Wow.
Steve, if we only had a time machine, right?
Oh my gosh, if I knew then what I know now.
We'd have a garage full of L88s, ZR2s, and even the ZL1 probably would have sold more than 2 back in the day if only we had a time machine. With this car, Chevy only built 12 of these. They call them the Zora Racers. That's one of the rumors what the ZR stands for. And it's just one of 2 convertibles that were offered with this high-performance package. The ZR2 is powered by the LS6 454 that makes 425 horsepower. It's got the M22 Rock Crusher 4-speed manual transmission, also a host of racing stuff like transistorized ignition, high-capacity aluminum radiator with shroud delete, which is something very rare, heavy-duty power disc brakes, and the F41 suspension. And then you have ZR2-specific spring shocks and front-rear sway bars. The car was built for racing. This is actually one of the well-known ZR2s. Used to be in the Ed Foss collection, and it's actually the lowest mileage ZR2 in existence with only having about 8,800 miles on it. This car was fully documented. It's judged at the highest levels. When it went on the block at Mecum's daytime auction in Monterey, it hammered for $785,000, but when you tie in the buyer's commission, total price out the door was $863,500.
Wow.
I think the initial pre-sale estimates were between $900,000 to $1 million. It almost did that, but this is a very well-known car, tons of documentation on it. It's only going to increase in value, so congratulations to the buyer there.
That's really cool. This next story, Keith, it just amazes me that this kind of thing still happens. A dealership in North Carolina had one of their service technicians take a joyride in a customer's C7 Z06. Don't they know we cover this stuff? We make it public.
You would think. And in fact, though, it wasn't one technician. It was 2 technicians that went for joyride.
Oh, my gosh.
The story goes that the owner of this C7 Z06, he's got a YouTube channel. That's kind of how we found out about it, because he did post that video up on his channel. He was having a misfire issue with this car. He took it to Modern Chevrolet in Burlington, North Carolina for service. The dealer never worked on it, so he picked it up that week and then he dropped it off again. Once again, it never got into the service department. So after complaining to GM customer service, the dealership took it in for a third and final time, kept it for 2 weeks before finding out that misfire issue was a faulty fuel injector. So he gets his car back. He's looking around saying he can't find his sunglasses. And like a lot of people, they know where they keep stuff in their cars. He says, let me pull up my dash cam and just see if I can find where I put them or where they might be. So instead of finding his sunglasses, he found that 2 different service technicians had taken out his cars for some hard pulls. And actually one of them picked up a female passenger just to show her how fast the car was.
Oh my gosh.
It gets even crazier. So a couple of those pulls with the first guy with the female passenger were close to 100 miles an hour. And the dash cam shows like the car almost swerving into the opposite lane. They passed the speed limit sign that showed 45 miles an hour. Think about that, 100 miles an hour in a 45 zone. The woman realizes the dash cam's recording. It says that the driver, who then miraculously follows all laws relating to traffic on the way back to the dealership. And then a second technician is also recorded taking the car out. He's seen jumping on the gas and saying, "Oh my God, this thing's so fast." He does say at the end there, got to make sure it's good for the customer. I think that's a little CYA action, knowing that it was probably recording him as well. And you are fixing a fuel injector. You got to make sure that that fuel injector is performing right. But I don't know about how fast he was going in terms of 100 miles an hour in a 45-mile-an-hour zone. The owner of the car, when he found those, he complained to the dealership. They actually refunded back his service money, basically lost all kinds of trust in him. Maybe the moral of the story when dropping off your Corvette to a dealership for service work is you put the PDR in valet mode if you've got it. If you don't have a PDR, a dash cam is your next best friend. Something to definitely think about.
Man, that's incredible. And I think those 2 technicians are probably looking for new jobs as well.
I hope that they were heavily reprimanded and maybe they actually had to pay the cost of the service fee. Who knows what a dealer would do there, but it's pretty egregious, especially picking up the passenger who's not part of the dealership.
Right.
You would think that would be an instant firing right there.
Not very smart. Keith, the C8 Corvette is really, really popular. Even UFC stars like the Corvette.
Well, we love these stories because it's part of the American dream. You might not come from money. You might not have skills for high-paying jobs, but you've got athletic abilities that you use to your fullest. And then finally, you're rewarded for that success. And this is just one of these stories that has come out. This rising star's name is Sugar Sean O'Malley. He just won the bantamweight title in a fight at the end of August. He's skinny. He's got bright pink hair, but he's got a wicked right hand that he used to dispatch his opponent, Aljamain Sterling, to claim the title. We actually put that clip of the knockout in the store. I watched it several times. And yeah, the guy made one mistake and paid for it with a right hand to the jaw there. To celebrate his win over Sterling, O'Malley paid a visit to Luxury Auto Collection in Scottsdale, Arizona, picked up an orange C8 Stingray, natural interior and bronze wheels to celebrate the American dream. He's the bantamweight title champion. He's got a new Corvette. He's looking for his next opponent. I'd say life is pretty good for Sugar Sean O'Malley.
Very nice. And our final story, Keith, we both were at Corvettes in Carlisle. That was a record year for Corvettes in Carlisle this year.
Yeah, they set the record on Friday, and then any car that came in after Friday afternoon, I think, was bonus. So we know that it was over 3,000 cars total. And, of course, so much great stuff there. The engineers brought in 10 or 12 E-Rays, which they drove. We kind of crawled around those in the back there. Of course, they had the new E-Rays, the show cars up front in the tent with the new colors. Got to see the Seawolf Gray, the Riptide Blue, and, of course, the new color, that cacti. Some people seem to be coming around to it. They had it out in the sun on the final day. It's a little bit muted, but yet I could see how people want to accessorize it and kind of make it their own. We witnessed the discussions. It talked about 53,000 cars produced, talked a lot about the E-Ray. I thought one of the interesting stories that we haven't really covered was Ted Stucker said that he actually purchased his own Stingray for personal use. Thought that was kind of cool. I think he said it was a blue car, so most likely Elkhart Lake blue. Of course, we've got some of the seminars that came out from the Corvette tent that we've been posting. And again, it was just great to see all the people around. We attended your seminar, and Steve, I actually filmed that. So you might be looking at our YouTube channel at a future date to see Steve's presentation at Carlisle. Yeah, I thought it was a great show. What were your thoughts?
I liked it. It was a great show, and I actually heard that someone reported we had 5,000 Corvettes at the show.
Yeah, I thought the record was over 3, and that's pretty much what I heard from, I think, Lance talking about it. There's so many cars there. They were up on the hill. We got to watch the making of the American flag again, which was pretty cool.
Yes.
I think they last did that in like 2018. So I'd mentioned that we're hoping that they really make that something annually, because that's a fun thing, both for the people that put it together with the drone footage and to show it off, but also the owners to say, hey, there's my car right there, you know?
Right.
Pretty cool show. And of course, one of the things that was really neat this year was the rolling exhaust competition. So it was over on one of the sides there, and all of a sudden you just heard these cars. There's a lot of revving going on, but there's a difference between a revving standing still and then a revving under wide open throttle. So some of these cars were going for the best exhaust. We crawled around the for sale tents for a while. There was a 66 in there. Looked like in barn find condition. Guy wanted 99 for it. I mean, the paint was all splattered, but it was a matching numbers car and it ran. So someone who buys that car's got a long road ahead of them.
There you go. It was a great show. I did 2 seminars on Corvette Today on Friday and one on Saturday. And then I also helped June Bartlett. June wrote a book called Ladies and Vets, and I helped her with her seminar. We did a little overview of Corvette Today, and for all the ladies, we got an opportunity to show them the difference between a C1, a C2, a C3, and C4, all the way up through. We showed the body styles, we showed the cross flags, so people can go out and logically say, oh, that's a C1 while they're walking the show field there at Corvettes at Carlisle.
Exactly. And in fact, there's a lot of lady owners that were there showing their own cars. So
yes.
Hats off to them as well.
And I also wanted to do a shout out to our friend John Price. John is the leader of the Eastern Ontario Corvette Club in the Great White North. John is the man that puts on the Kingston Invasion up there in Canada. And John was down with everybody from the Eastern Ontario Corvette Club, and he incurred a health situation. I just wanted to make sure that John is doing all right and give a shout out to John and a speedy recovery coming his way.
Absolutely. Best wishes to all those people out there. It was hot that day.
Yeah.
Friday and Saturday, especially Friday. It caught me. I was a little off guard to that heat up there, especially because Florida, everybody's got AC. You're inside. You go out for a little bit. You come back inside. There, we were on the ground straight 8 hours.
All day long.
Boy, it does take a toll on you. So, yeah, best wishes to John. Hope he recovers.
Absolutely. Well, buddy, thanks for being back on Corvette Today. We will talk again in 2 weeks.
My pleasure, Steve. If you're out there, keep waving. We've got the fall coming up. Hopefully temperatures will cool down a little bit. If we see you out there, throw those hands up.
Thanks for listening to Corvette Today. And please be sure to tell your family, friends, and other Corvette enthusiasts about the Corvette Today podcast. And thanks to our sponsors. Wheelcraft. Want to dress up your Corvette with bright chrome or black chrome wheels? Visit wheelcraft.com to learn about their advanced PVD chrome finishing. They can refinish your wheels or offer a wheel exchange for most models, and it comes with a 5-year warranty. Visit wheelcraft.com today or call 833-840-5334. Soul Performance Products at soulpp.com, the official exhaust of Corvette Today. True Wealth & Company at retirewithtrue.com. Also, Aerolarri Wheels. Get $100 off your purchase with the new promo code CT111 at aerolarri.com. And Hendrick Chevrolet in Kansas City at chevyusa.com.
You've been listening to Corvette Today with Steve Garrett. If you'd like to contact Steve with any thoughts on the podcast or ideas for guests on Corvette Today, you can email him at stevegarrettdj@gmail.com. That's stevegarrettdj@gmail.com. Garrett has 2 R's and 2 T's. Or connect with Steve on social media on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram using @SteveGarrettDJ. Thanks again for listening to Corvette Today.